What's going on, YouTube fam, and welcome back to another video. And today we're going to be talking about Airbnb versus hotel, but specifically in Mexico. Which one is better? Which one is for you? And we're going to break it down a little bit about some of the differences and why I prefer someone sometimes and one the other times, and why you may feel the same way as well. Now, pardon me, my voice is a little bit off, but I had to make a video for you all, and let's get into it. So, Airbnbs and hotels in Mexico. Now, a lot of us out there may have preferences. Like, you may prefer to stay in a hotel because of this reason. You may prefer to go to Airbnb because of that reason. Some people prefer this thing over that thing. It all depends. It's very subjective. So we're going to talk about the pros and cons of each of those options. Now, I'm focusing on Mexico, and I'm going to give you some experiences that I had in Mexico too, so you can kind of understand where I'm coming from. Now, I've only stayed at a hotel in Mexico maybe a handful of times, and I've traveled around the country quite a bit. Normally, I go for Airbnb, and I don't know. I think it's now the first time I ever tried Airbnb. This was in 2016, at the beginning of 2016. The first time I ever used it, I went to Europe, and in Portugal, I rented an apartment in downtown Porto. It was fantastic. It fully equipped everything I needed for a couple of days. It was $83 for 2 days, and it was fantastic. A huge place, amazing. So from there, I was like, okay, I like this concept of Airbnb. That's when it's like newer on the scene, So I was like, okay, I like that. And then over the years, I did it in Spain and the Czech Republic, and I was like, all right, this cool, was really nice and everything. Now, of course, depending on the country you go to, the quality is going to be different, and the region, there's a lot going on. But generally, it's a really cool option. And why? Because when you're in an Airbnb, right, and you're visiting a new country, especially if you're somewhere new, let's say I'm going to, I don't know, Paris. I even did Airbnb in Paris, almost forgot. So for example, where I stayed in Paris, and this is just the example, was in a neighborhood that, it was just like a regular neighborhood with the everyday people in the neighborhood. So it felt like, okay, I'm a part of the neighborhood, and it was a cool feeling. Like, not like I live there, but it's just different. The vibe is different. So you really get to feel the culture. You get to see the local places. Sometimes if you go to hotels, depending on what area you're in and what place you're going to, they may not be in areas that really have much going on. Like, a lot of them will be in like business districts and things like that. So yeah, it may be nice and everything like that, but you are not like feeling the neighborhood, like, you know what I mean? And I like that. I think it's a good thing. Now, I usually use that in Mexico. I've been in a hotel a few times, and pretty good experience as well. But why I say particular about Mexico is because, I had some interesting experiences when you look at the pictures and you're like, oh, that looks nice. Okay, can't wait to, stay there for a few days while I'm there, and, whatever. And then you get there, you're like, okay, hold on. Now, I haven't had any horror stories per se, but I had some things that were kind of like, that could have been better, like significantly better. But nothing where I had to like be, saved, or it was just atrocious and I just, It was nothing like that. So in that aspect, why would you want to stay in Airbnb? Let's look at it like that. If you're visiting a place, of course, now that's a normal, it's just for short-term stays. It can be for long-term stays as well. Now, if you are going to a place, let's say you got a week, it's really good. You're living like, you can buy some food, you can cook from your Airbnb if you want to save some money, or you just prefer cooking your own meals most of the time. And you can do that. Most of these Airbnbs, you can filter through and you can see, okay, this comes with this amenity, cooking ware, all that stuff like that, a stove. You can filter all that out and find anything you want. So that's the cool thing. So it's good. You feel like even though it's not your home, you still feel at home, if that makes sense, right? So you have that, and they're good because let's say also you're moving to a new place and you're scouting the area, and you say, okay, well, I'm going to be in Mexico for 3 weeks. I'm going to be scouting around Mexico City or Monterrey or whatever city that you choose to be, and you're looking for apartments, for example. Well, it's a perfect place, and it's a little more cost saving than if you were to do a hotel for that long. So let's say you're here for 3 weeks or a month, you can get deals on Airbnb because the longer you stay, especially if you're going on a monthly basis, the less it's going to be, because they give you a monthly discount. So that is a great thing that I think is very good. Now with hotels, unless you get some super amazing deals, some discount, you're going to be paying the price that you pay per night. Now Airbnb, you pay per night as well. But when you book a hotel on Expedia or hotels.com, You may stay a month. You may get a little discount here and there, but overall, you're paying the price per night and what it costs to stay at the hotel, right? And for the most part, Airbnbs, one thing I've noticed over the years, because I've stayed in my fair share, trust me, when you increase the time you're there, they give you monthly discounts, and that gives you time. If you got time and you're new to a place, or you're only staying in a place for a few months and you just want a steady place to stay, that's good. With that being said, Airbnbs can be a gift and a curse. Now, what you want to do before you rent any Airbnb, read the reviews. Reviews are necessary. I don't care what country you're going to, but read the reviews. Read them, and go through them, because that says a lot. If you're seeing certain people say the same things over and over, then you can kind of trust that these people are telling the truth. It's not just a coincidence, So read the reviews, see what it is, the neighborhood it's in, everything like that. And, that's how you'll be more prepared. Now, I'll tell you a funny Airbnb story, and then we'll get back to talking about hotels. Airbnb, so that last video that I posted showing you all Oaxaca, and if you haven't seen it, check it out. We stayed at an Airbnb. It was me and two good friends of mine. So my friend had reserved it, and there's 3 bedrooms, so there's 3 of us, so we each had our own bedroom, own bathroom. The layout of the place was super nice. It was in an area, we had like a cafe close by, it was a nice little area of Oaxaca. It was cool, So we get there, right? And check-in time is 3 p.m. So we knock on the door. The cleaning lady comes out, and she was kind of confused. She didn't know what was going on. And then we're like, yeah, we know we're here to check in. Did, Eduardo, I think that was his name, give you the heads up? She didn't know what was going on. Mind you, she's getting paid to clean Airbnbs. It's a business. But she had no idea we were coming. Nothing was happening. It was like, okay, this is not the worst thing in the world. We'll be all right. So then she was like, okay, well, if you guys want to come in, and then we're going to finish cleaning. Okay, cool. We'll go in, whatever. So we're just hanging out and relaxing for a little bit, because we were walking around a lot earlier that day. And was like, okay, well, let's go to the store, let's grab a couple of beers and stuff like that, come back, chill. By that time, maybe, the lady, because I think it might have been her daughter with her, they'll be finished and we can just chill and do our thing. So we come back, they were still working. It's like, all right, cool. We want a clean place, so we're going to deal with it. Let me tell you, it took 2 hours for them to completely finish that. 2 hours. Now, it took 2 hours, and then they brought us fresh towels, soap, all the amenities. But they were brand new towels that had not yet been washed. And when you don't wash a towel, you still get the little fibers coming off. So I take a shower and I'm wiping off, and there's just like little fibers everywhere. So I was like, okay, whatever. Wake up in the morning, the shades, there's still sun creeping in, even though I had the shades all the way closed. Sun was creeping in. I was like, I can't even really sleep. Bed was comfortable, but still. So we're sitting at the kitchen table, and the thing is not even bolted down. It's moving like that. And we're like, what? We're like putting drinks. I think a drink's going to fall off. I'm like, oh, this is wild. So it's like, all right, not the end of the world. Kitchen was nice. It came with coffee and water and all this. I'm like, all right, cool. So I look up at the light fixture. There's 3 different fixtures. 2 of them had lights. 1 of them had no bulb. I was like, And for what they were charging too. And mind you, this is different because it was more of what you're paying for what you're getting. You know what I mean? So I was like, okay, whatever, not the worst thing in the world. We were out most of the time anyway. So then I remember we were about to go out for dinner. I think it was that night or the night after. And I'm looking at, there's 2 lamps on a dresser, like a stand, and they didn't have light bulbs in them. I'm like, what? Are you kidding me right now? Not only that, when we came in, there was a lock to get into the main gate because it was like a block of apartments. So there were different ones there, other Airbnbs. The code to get in the front door, you just press it and then it opens. So you can only really truly lock it when you're inside and in for the night, because outside of that, well, what's purpose does it serve? So that goes to say that was a funky experience. Now, I've seen some where it's kind of dirty, like, they didn't wash the dishes properly. It was just dingy, like stuff like that. I never had any like horror stories with like, just crazy stuff happening or, whatever like that. But I've had some unfavorable experiences. Now, here in Mexico, I've been to many, many great Airbnbs, beautiful ones in Mexico City, in Mérida, here in Guadalajara, different areas, some nice Airbnbs, no problems. It was a great, pleasant experience. So you always want to make sure you check the reviews thoroughly, right? If you're staying with Airbnb, that's a big part. So check the reviews, all right? Now, hotels. Hotels are another thing. Now, they can be good because hotels, you have room service. If you get hungry during the night, you don't have to leave. You have fresh towels that can be replenished at any time. You just let the housekeeper know. They'll bring you fresh linens, whatever you need. Some hotels will leave you, you get coffee and tea there. They'll leave you fresh bottles of water, filtered water, and you can ask for more. It's a little more convenient. It's very secure if you're going to like a Hilton or a Marriott, like a decent one, like a little hole in the wall. So those things are good. So it's like you got more attention because people are right there to serve you, to take care of you, to help you out. Airbnbs, you may meet the owner and they'll be cool and everything like that. But at the same time, they leave you to your own devices. So it's going to be like, okay, I'm staying in somebody's house, but at the same time, they're not going to be around. So, you could call if something goes wrong or whatever. But I think in a hotel, it's a lot faster. Attending to you if there's an issue than an Airbnb, unless the owner lives close by or on the same property. But in short story, I would say it depends on where you're going. Now, some hotels too can be dingy. You can find stuff on the sheets, you know what I mean? So definitely read reviews for hotels too, not just Airbnbs. Like I've seen a few little spotty things I wasn't really feeling, but at the end of the day, I didn't have anybody like come out of the closet or try to attack me or find any rats or anything like that, any rodents, anything like that. So I've heard people who have, but me personally, thankfully, I haven't had that experience. So I would say it really just depends on what you're looking for, what you feel more comfortable with. If you like to cook, if you like to feel like you're in the neighborhood, Airbnb all the way, especially in Mexico, because you really get to feel, you get to go to the local bakery, the local store, maybe even meet some neighbors, who knows? But definitely good because you just feel like you're just one of the residents, Hotel, if you like a more tailored experience and more care and more attention, definitely. But it really boils down to what you want. And also, if you're moving long term and you need a place to stay for a short period of time, monthly Airbnb and rentals. And who knows, I know people who have negotiated deals to actually rent out the Airbnb. I almost did that in the Czech Republic until I didn't, but the offer was there. So it is possible as well. So really depends on what you like at the end of the day. I recommend both. If you're going to stay at a hotel, stay at a decent one. It doesn't have to be 5-star. Hilton is a really good one. You can get reasonable prices. Marriott, even Holiday Inns are decent. So, like the decent brands that you can find all over, or even local brands that have good ratings. So check the ratings, check the areas you're going to be to make sure. And yeah, definitely. I think that they're both good options. And if you, like I said, you want to feel like one of the residents, Airbnb all the way. If you want to just, have things taken care of and, things like that, hotel. If you want to be more in the business district or more in the tourist area, hotel. And you can find Airbnbs in tourist areas as well. But for the most part, I would say that most of them are just regular neighborhood Airbnbs. And like I said, for the most part, all around Mexico I've been to, I've had a great experience. So definitely recommend it. And if Airbnb is for you, then I hope I explained something that makes sense. And if hotels are for you and that's what your style is, then just roll with it. Because in Mexico, there's a lot of nice hotels, a lot of luxury things, and a lot of regular things too. So you have a lot to choose from. All right. So that is all, fam. I want to say thank you all for tuning in. All my new subscribers, welcome to the channel. I am going to a new destination. Not my first time, but it's one of my favorite places. I'm taking you along in a few days. It's going to be the first time I do this on the channel, that I've been there since I have my channel, and I'm going to show you content. And then there's going to be another new destination I'm going to sprinkle in there and bring you along with me. And we're going to just continue traveling and continue showing you lifestyle, all right? So thank you all for watching. This video is a little bit longer. Hope you made it to the end. I hope you found it useful, and I'll catch you on the next one very soon in a new location. And you all stay safe, and thank you again for watching. Subscribe if you haven't. Share with people who you think you might like this. And until the next time, y'all be safe and be blessed.